Straight ahead on 12 News, keeping an eye on the tracks. Why local firefighters are training for trains. Then, a garden of grace. How this garden is filling a huge need. But first,
as a mom, I would rather have them come home tomorrow.
A local mom with special reason to worry about the violence in the Middle East. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Many local families are keeping an eye on the Middle East during the latest round of violence between the Israeli army and the Palestinian forces.
Now, fighting in the Gaza Strip has picked up since early July, and as Sonia Goins reports, it's deeply concerning to local families that have close connections to that part of the world.
Here is my daughter, Shifra.
Judy Jacobson is a nurse at Methodist Hospital.
That's Yael. As a healthcare provider, I know the violence and the bloodshed is horrific for anybody that it touches.
She has two daughters who live in Israel.
They're not afraid. They have complete confidence in their government's ability to protect them.
But Judy can't help but to be concerned for her girls.
Look, as a mom, I would rather have them come home tomorrow.
She has good reason to worry. Both Shira and Yael are caught in a conflict that has been going on for more than 70 years.
My daughters grew up going to high school in Sderot, which is one of the most bombed cities in all of Israel.
The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not just about religion. It's also about land. Who gets what land and how is it controlled?
It's a horrible situation on both sides of the border.
Fighting in Gaza has escalated in recent days.
I don't only cry for what happens in Israel, I also cry for the children of Gaza and, for the civilians that are in a horrible place.
The bombings and missile attacks impact everyone in Gaza, including Judy's daughters.
They do have to go and seek shelter, very frequently. The good thing is that in Israel, all new construction since the Gulf War has mandated that within the house there's a safe room.
Israelis need to know that people throughout the world, Jews and non-Jews alike, are supporting them at this very difficult time.
Steve Huneggs is the executive director of the Jewish Community Relations Council. His oldest daughter is in Israel attending camp.
They're given briefings, the kids. At the same time, they're experiencing life like all Israelis, having to deal with issues of terrorism and war.
The JCRC is holding a community event tonight at Adath Synagogue. Governor Mark Dayton is the keynote speaker.
We're holding the event in solidarity with Israel, with the Israel Defense Forces.
Now, they're expecting more than 1,200 people at tonight's event at Adath Synagogue. The event starts at 7:30 and it's open to anyone. In Hopkins, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And since U.S.-led peace talks broke down in April, more than 700 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict, while 32 Israeli soldiers have been killed since July 17th.
Maple Grove police are investigating a robbery at a CVS pharmacy that could be connected to a similar case in Fridley. The Maple Grove robbery happened around 10 o'clock Thursday morning at the CVS on Wedgwood Road, just off Bass Lake Road. A young man approached the pharmacy area and made a demand for pharmaceuticals. A similar robbery happened at the CVS in Fridley on Wednesday night. Police believe that it could be the same man.
If they've seen or heard anything about our robbery today or the one in Fridley, to please call us so we can make sure that the person responsible for this is brought to us so we can make sure nobody gets hurt in the future.
The robber in the Maple Grove case is described as a white male around 20 years old, seen wearing a gray sweatshirt with black lettering, blue jeans with holes, and a black and red baseball cap. If you have any information, you're urged to call the Maple Grove Police Department. Trains transport millions of gallons of crude oil through Minnesota every day.
That has local firefighters keeping a close eye on the tracks as new federal safety regulations are proposed. And Delane Cleveland joins us now with more on that. Delane?
And Mike and Alex, the crude oil passing through on rail cars raised the interest of officials with the West Metro Fire District. Earlier this year, they reached out to Canadian Pacific Railroad to receive training on how to prepare for a worst-case scenario.
General curiosity, what is coming through here and what do they really expect us to do? The general public expects the fire department to do a lot of different things. So we had to really find out what are we going to do in this instance, what do we need, what do they want from us, because it's something that we aren't going to deal with that often, but we do absolutely need to be ready for it.
According to MnDOT, every day 7 trains carrying more than 23 million gallons of crude oil pass through Minnesota. Officials with the West Metro Fire District say the general public shouldn't be too concerned, but the state legislature passed a new law this year that implements stricter oversight of railroad companies requires more railway inspections, and provides for better emergency response training. The new regulations proposed by the federal government this week would further enhance Minnesota's safety measures.
It's CP's position that stricter federal tank car safety standards is the single most important step to improving rail transport of dangerous goods. And so CP welcomes the announcement by the U.S. DOT on Wednesday.
Meanwhile, it's worth noting that next month, several members of the West Metro Fire Department will be going to Colorado for a training seminar hosted by Canadian Pacific Railroad. Mike?
All right, thanks, Delane. Brooklyn Park is hearing from residents on what they want to see for a key development site north of Highway 610. The city officials held a community meeting Wednesday to go over potential development for vacant land east of Zane Avenue along Oak Grove Parkway. Last year, a task force consisting of 15 residents brainstormed ideas they would like to see. Those ideas range from retail and restaurants to mixed-use housing.
It's always important to remember that a lot of this land is controlled by the developers or by landowners, and they have a big say in what happens, but the city also has some ability to guide what happens, and so it's a balancing act, and we're working on making that balance.
Another idea is a new apartment building to house an expected influx of Target workers at the northern campus. The last apartment project in Brooklyn Park was done back in 1992 on the Edinburgh Golf Course. The Department of Agriculture says 10% of Minnesotans struggle to get enough food.
And those who get food from food shelves often don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. In this week's In the Garden, reporter Shannon Slatton tells us about a group of volunteers who are trying to bridge the gap.
Midsummer in Minnesota means gardens are just now yielding produce that you could be proud of. The hot summer sun is ripening peppers, rows of cabbage, and zucchini. And a group of gardening advocates is paying close attention to this year's yield.
We source from farmers markets, private gardens, community gardens, like this one at Grace Fellowship Church, to get fresh produce for the food shelf.
Claire Bagleen is coordinating with this garden and many more for the Garden Gleaning Project.
We're able to bring in some fresh foods that are local and most of the time organic too. It's really a great way to kind of help people live healthier lifestyles.
There are 108 plots at Grace Community Garden, and much of what is produced here goes straight to the food shelf at SEEP in Brooklyn Center.
We're trying to have them donate at least half of their produce for some designated gardens, and then we're encouraging the other gardeners that didn't sign up for that program to also make some donations.
And that produce goes to help families who don't usually have access to locally grown foods.
The need is huge. What we found is families are looking for that healthy, fresh produce.
Other gardeners are encouraged to donate extra produce too. No amount is too small.
There's just a need for the food in our area, and what better to have fresh produce at this time of year for those that really need it.
In Brooklyn Park, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
SEEP received 4,400 pounds of fresh produce last year, and they hope to bring in double the donations this year. The effect of this spring's rainfall is still felt on the West Metro's busiest lake, but boaters will catch a break come Friday. Minimum wake restrictions will be lifted on portions of Lake Minnetonka. Currently, the entire lake is a minimum wake zone. That means boaters can only go 5 miles per hour or less. On Friday, boaters will be allowed to go at higher speeds as long as they're at least 600 feet from the shore. Coming up, it is City Festival time in Crystal. We'll have a preview of Crystal Frolics.
Then later in sports, Osseo gets the Bats going in their opener of the Sub-State Legion Baseball Tournament.
But first, a dry, sunny day on tap for Friday. The Crystal Frolics kicks off tonight at Becker Park with a carnival, fair food, and polka music.
And reporter Carissa Wyant is live in Crystal with festival organizers and has some information on what's happening this weekend in Crystal. Carissa?
Hey, Mike and Alex. I'm out here at Becker Park where Crystal Frolics is just getting underway. And I'm joined by Lynn Haney, who is the president of Crystal Frolics. She's here to tell us a little bit about what people can expect here this weekend. Hey, Lynn, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. We enjoy it. You got to frolic. You got to get the word out.
Yeah, speaking of frolicking, what kind of frolicking can people do out here? What's going on this weekend?
Okay, well, to start off this evening right away at 6:30 at Forest Elementary School, we have a free lacrosse clinic for boys and girls ages 8 to 14. So go on down, learn about lacrosse. I don't know about it, so good way to learn. Plus tonight we have a polka band playing. We have a home run contest for our softball tournament, which is one of the biggest in the state, and the best, of course. And then we have music all weekend. So great times going on. We have the carnival, opens up this evening at 6 o'clock and runs every evening, and also Saturday and Sunday afternoons.
And there's a parade as well that's going to be on Sunday?
There is. The parade is at noon, and it's right here in Becker Park. We kind of do a figure eight around the baseball diamonds, and we want the kids to come out, costumes, decorate their bikes or wagons, have fun, show us what makes Crystal special.
So it's really a family affair. Everybody can join in the fun this weekend in Crystal.
It is. It's time to come out and frolic as a family.
Thanks so much for joining us. Just to recap some of the events that are going on this week, we have the carnival that you can see behind me set up through Sunday, every day through Sunday. Fireworks are both Friday and Saturday at 10 o'clock. And then the parade is Sunday at noon. I don't know, myself, I'm excited for the polka band, so I might have to go enjoy that tonight. If you're wondering what the full schedule is, you can log on to our website, 12.tv, and find the full schedule events here at Crystal Frolics there. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, Carissa, thank you so much. She is a polka fan, I know that.
That's right.
Still ahead, district tournament highlights in American Legion baseball.
Plus, a local boxer gears up for a big Friday night fight. John Jacobson has more on Caleb Truax. Up next in sports.
Some more American Legion baseball, including a very, very good local team.
Yeah, Champlin's got a nice club this summer and hoping to advance beyond this tournament. Champlin is the top-seeded team in the Sub-State 9 American Legion Baseball Tournament in Coon Rapids. Post 600 open the tourney, taking on the Brooklyn Park Knights in Coon Rapids at Wintercrest Park, bottom of the first. Eric Pearson with a 2-out hit that scores Tim Munn and Trevor Kaminsky for the quick lead. The Knights answer with 3, though, in the top of the third. Tyler Stroh jacks a double to the fence. That scores Jeremy Tutt and Dan Savanich as Brooklyn Park takes the lead. But in the bottom of the third, CP gets 3. Brian McGill's base hit scores Kip Youngquist and makes it 5-3 Rebels. Brandon Rushmeyer does the rest. He goes the 9-inning distance and holds Brooklyn Park scoreless from the 4th inning on. Rebels win 6-3. They're playing Andover in the second round. Osseo is hosting the District 11 Sub-State Tournament. They played their first round game against St. Michael. Osseo, the number 5 seed, St. Michael, the 4. Down 1-0 in the 4th inning. Osseo Stephen Fisher singles to center. Haven Williams scores, and it's a 1-1 game. Still in the 4th, A.J. Lyons up, and he hits a hard grounded to short that's bobbled. Lyons reaches first safely, and Fisher scores to make it 4-1. Rudy Alexander then singles to center. That brings home Andrew Cronin. Osseo scores 6 runs in the inning. But St. Michael comes closer in the 5th. Tyler Berg drives one deep to left center, and this carries over the fence for a 2-run homer. Berg's home run cuts Osseo's lead to 1 at 6-5. Top of the 7th, Ben Christopherson comes through with a big base hit to right that skips past the outfielder. Fisher and Justin Philippon score on the hit, and it's 8-5 Osseo. Christopherson added another 2-run single in the 9th as Osseo wins 11-5. They play top-seeded Maple Grove Friday morning at 10. The State Little League Baseball Tournament is underway. The division for the 11 and 12-year-olds features a Plymouth-New Hope team that opened the tournament Wednesday evening facing Hermantown. The Hawks will grab an early lead in this one. Sam High's 2-run single in the top of the 3rd puts them up, but it's all PNH from there. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Zach Myers' base hit scores Jack Euchre and Aaron Myers for a 3-2 lead. Same inning, Aaron Ross is up. He'll wait on a pitch here and cracks a ground rule double to center that brings home Logan Naring with a run. Jack Premisberger caps the 7-run inning with an RBI single to left, scoring Charlie Mason. PNH will get 5 more in the 4th. They go on to win 12-2, and they play again tonight, Thursday at Isaacson Park. For the 54th summer in a row, the Crystal Frolics softball tournament returns to the city for 3+ days. 12 teams will play in the open or gold the men's division, 48 in the silver or Class D competitive division, plus another 12 in the co-ed tournament. 3 defending champions are all back. This is a tournament that many teams come back to year after year.
I think it's a combination of all different things here why teams come back to play at the Frolics. One, we do have a nice travel expense package that we do pay out. We do attract a lot of the more competitive teams that want to play some good softball because it gears up for them. Starting next week, we have state tournaments, state and regional tournaments, world tournaments, and national tournaments that these teams are going to be going to participate in. So it kind of gears them up.
2 games are scheduled for tonight, Thursday at Becker Park at 6 with the annual home run hitting contest starting around 8 p.m. Most of the tournament gets underway Friday at 5:20 p.m. with games at Becker, Welcome, Valley Place, and Bassett Creek Parks. Play then continues Saturday and Sunday. Osseo's Caleb Truax is back in the ring this Friday. He'll take on Derek Ennis on ESPN's Friday Night Fights. Truax is 23-1-2 as a pro and looking for a little redemption after his last fight. Back in January, Truax fought to a draw against Ozzy Duran. By his own admission, Truax had a bad night against Duran, so he's hungry to get back on the winning track in this upcoming fight.
In boxing, people remember your last fight, you know, and I need to put on a show and leave a good impression in fans' minds, and then I'll get back on TV and hopefully get a bigger fight after this one.
Truax was actually supposed to fight Ennis back in January before Ennis pulled out with an injury. Truax said that made preparations for Friday's fight a little easier since the team had previously developed a game plan for fighting Ennis. The card in Chicago gets underway at 8 p.m. Friday on ESPN2. That's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, we continue to celebrate the city of Crystal at the Frolics.
We'll find out some of the places people love in Crystal when we come back. There's lots to see and do in Crystal this weekend with Crystal Frolics.
And to help celebrate, we decided to ask folks what places they love in Crystal.
Oh, half-price books, I guess. Yeah, that's a good bookstore.
My family really enjoys the Crystal Cove pool, and also we enjoy just the parks in the area.
Country Buffet, Target, the bank, and basically everything in there. Market Tire.
Some good commercial there, right there. And as a reminder, of course, Crystal Frolics is tonight through Sunday. Most of the events take place at Becker Park, so go on out and enjoy the celebration.
We wish them good weather.
That's right. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here again on Friday, beginning at 4.